different religions that weren't a part of our customs, they have fed into those things, okay? And as a result, the Most High said that that all the sinners of his people, okay, they're gonna die by the sword. So when the missiles come from Russia, they're coming from Iran and all of these places where with the World War III is gonna be taking place. Okay, when that takes place, you're gonna have a lot of Jakes, a lot of Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that are gonna be put to death too. Okay, so it says here, which say the evil day shall not overtake us, nor prevent us. Okay, and this is the point I wanted here. It says, in that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen rather more, and close up the breaches thereof, and I'll raise up his ruins and build him up as in the days of old. So this is what this whole thing of the pushing of the word is about. It's about raising up the tabernacle of David. Now I had set this sermon in motion because I was going to go into these Amalekites that are ruling out there, and ultimately Esau that's ruling the world right now. Okay, because he's ruling the world under a vibration of wickedness and a vibration that's contrary to life. Okay, so I wanted to go into that. Okay, but that fits in nicely with the scripture that I've just raised because, you know, the Most High does things in a balance. Okay, the Most High set it up to where he's out here and he's raising up his men. Okay, in the last days and the end times. Okay, and he's having it to where the opposite to that is Esau enjoying, okay, and laboring, okay, in wickedness. Okay, now I wanted to go into the book of Revelations to start off with, and I think it's the so I'm gonna want that. Okay, so there's a particular scripture I want in here, okay, that goes into the nature of these so-called Jews, okay, which is the head tribe of Esau, okay, but ultimately the whole nation is like this. It's gonna find the right scripture to it. I might have to search it out on the mobile phone, okay, because they have a particular way of being, okay, which is the way of death. Okay, the scriptures talks about how the Most High blessed Esau with a sword, and that's how he has lived. And you know, really, when you go into it, okay, that's how he's obtained this realm, if you will. Okay, this whole society has been set up off of what? Off of that sword. Okay, so red horse. Okay, so the book of Revelation is the 19th chapter and the 19th verse. It says, and I saw, no, that's not it. Okay, Revelation 6:4, it says, and they went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. So the inherent nature of Esau is to take peace away from the earth. That's why you got it to where you got all of these nations coming up together, to battle against each other, because they are underneath the influence of America, of Russia, okay, and these are the nations that you know as NATO, okay. Their nature is to come up and take away peace upon the earth. That's the spirit that the Most High put upon them. Okay, when you go into the spirit of Cain, of which Esau was Cain coming back. Okay, Cain, what? He killed his brother. Okay, and why did he kill his brother? Because the Most High was with Abel. Okay, ultimately that's what it comes down to. So when you go into where they're out there massacring nations and ultimately killing Jacob out there within the favelas and within the ghettos and within the different neighborhoods that Jake is in, that's all to deal with the birthright. Okay, so it says here, of which when you read about the birthright, you find out the birthright of Jacob was greater than the birthright of Esau. Okay, because Jacob was going to get the inheritance of the earth, but Esau was going to get the blessing of the sword, and he was going to rule the world for a particular time, but ultimately righteousness was going to prevail over him. Okay, so Revelation 6:4, it says, and they went out another red horse, another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and they was given unto him a great sword. So that's the blessing that came upon Esau. Okay, that's the blessing that came upon him. And when we was reading Maccabees, the first chapter, what did you read about? You find out that when Alexander the so-called Great went out there, okay, and he was establishing the first Edomite empire, if you will, okay, what happened within the earth? You had it to where evils multiplied. So because with this blessing of the sword, as spoken about within the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter, this is how they obtained riches and wealth. Okay, but the scripture says those riches and all that wealth was going to flow away. You can read about that within the book of Job, the 20th chapter in a second. Okay, because they've gone out there, they've taken the oil from the Arabs. They've gone out there, they've taken the diamonds and the gold from them so-called Hamites and particular Jake nations that they got out there within Africa, and they've got all of those things, but they've gotten all of those things unrighteously. Okay, and because they have dealt unrighteously, the Most High was going to put his wrath upon them. Okay, I know I'm touching on different points, but hopefully it all makes sense. You know, when you watch this video from back home. Okay, the book of Job, the 20th chapter, and I'll go straight to the point. This is Job 20:19. It says, "Because he hath oppressed and forsaken the poor." And when you go into the scriptures and you're reading about the poor, okay, the forsaken poor, most of the time it's talking about the Israelites. Okay. Because when you go like when the dude came up and we was going into the scriptures and he was saying, okay, so this people is cursed. Well, guess what? It is a cursed people. In fact, when we go back into the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, okay, and we really read near the 64th verse, okay, Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, okay, near the 64th verse, 65, okay, and amongst these nations thou shalt find no ease, okay, neither shall the foot of thy soul have rest, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart and failing of eyes. You find out that the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans was always going to be in a particular situation where the money that they have, you know, it weren't going to be too strong, man. Okay, now Esau's got what's known as generational wealth. Okay, but Jake's got money that you can lose in a bad drug habit, man. Okay, so that's not having money. You might have an athlete, okay, that makes it out there within the so-called NBA or makes it out there playing Major League Football, okay, but ultimately what happens is that money gets lost via taxation. That money gets lost via what? Bad decisions, because amongst these nations we was going to find no ease. So we're the poor because of the curses that the Most High Yahweh Shemi Al Shai has put upon us. Now the scripture says that what? Because he has oppressed and forsaken the poor. So his blessing is a sword. Okay, but he also goes further to what? To oppress and forsake the poor, so he can have it to where the resources of the earth are all towards him. Okay, as the scripture is going to say, they have amassed all kinds of riches. Okay, but the scripture also says that what? Them riches was going to flow away. Okay, you go into the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Okay, which I may or may not get later on. The scripture says that what? The saints shall take the kingdom. Okay, and when they take the kingdom, they ain't just gonna take, you know, or these, you know, the thrones that Esau's gotten. No, we're gonna take his riches, we're gonna take his wealth, we're gonna take all of it. Okay, you okay there, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Okay. Do you believe in the Bible?
Yeah, I'm open to people believing in the Bible. So.
I know. I asked you if you believe in the Bible, not other people believe in the Bible. Do you believe in the Bible?
Not necessarily.
Okay, good. You believe in Darwinism and science, right?
I like to.
Okay, can I ask you a question about Darwinism? When did the theory of evolution come into the earth?
Really?
Did Darwin come up with it, or did it come up before?
Oh no, I imagine it probably was developed before him as well.
Okay, all right. It came from ancient Babylon,
Yeah, nice.
Egypt, rather more. Okay, so within the realms of science and evolution, how does God fit into all of that? Or do you believe it was just randomness? And
No. It's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a hard one. Right.
I like to believe in spirituality.
You like to believe in spirituality,
Yeah,
or do you believe?
I do.
You believe in spirituality. So
Yeah.
what? So
That's why I have nothing against religion.
I never said you had anything to do against religion. I'm just having fun with
absolutely,
you. That's all.
Man, absolutely.
That's all. So what do you think? Because both things can't exist, can they? You can't have Darwinism in theory. So what stands? What's the one thing that's going to stand? If one has to fall, what stands?
I think they can live in harmony. They can be in harmony.
They can't live in harmony.
You don't think we can have scientific reasons to explain spiritual going on?
No, but that's why you call it spiritual.
Yeah.
That's why you call it spiritual. Otherwise,
you
you
have to
call
have
it.
faith, I understand.
That's why you call it scientific.
It's an interesting one, man. Absolutely.
Can I ask you one last thing? What's easier? Okay, what's easier in a theory of evolution? What's easier? Okay, if a pile of metal, okay, a big pile of aluminium, okay, is it easier for that to transform into a Volvo, or is it easier for some random atoms to come together to make a fully functioning human? What's easier, scientifically speaking? A fully functioning human is easier. You know, one cell within your body is more complicated than the greatest supercomputer that they have out there. Do you know that? One single cell.
I believe in evolution.
You know, evolution is like throwing alphabets into the air, right? And then having Shakespeare's Macbeth when it comes back down.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yes and no, but
Yeah, it is. It is. You can't have random. You can't have some.
Too much to argue with.
The science. Okay, I'll ask you this: what's the science in the evolution? What's the science?
So
of it?
animals evolved to move on situationally. Right. That's why we find.
So it got hot, and your body decided to adjust to those temperatures.
People do, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not mine, but maybe ours will over the next 10,000 years.
Right, okay. You know, if you drop like 2 degrees internal body temperature, you drop dead, right?
Yeah, but that's over a quick time, not a short time.
No, okay, fair enough.
Over a long time,
fair enough. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That's why I'd like to say that I think I don't and not believe in spirituality at all.
Right.
I'm just
having some fun. I just wanted to see where your mind was at. I'm just having some fun.
With what happens, but I believe in a balance between
right.
the two.
Well, within the Bible, the whole Darwinism thing is BS. In fact, when you go into the Chronicles of Darwin, and you really search it out, okay, like, I mean, you go home into Google and you type in, you know, what was, because Darwin didn't write one book.
No, yeah.
Okay, he wrote many books. Now, the last book he's published, and you could prove me incorrectly, okay, the last book that he wrote was basically going into the fact that his worst thing with Darwinism is that he couldn't make that thing to be real.
Yeah, okay.
He couldn't make it to where it was real, because why? Because ultimately, when you see a person, that person is being created perfect, like a watch, like a Swiss watch. What's more intricate? Like I said, is a car more intricate, or is a human more intricate?
A human is more intricate.
Okay, so it's easier to have it to a pile of metal transformed into a Volvo.
A pile of metal would never turn into a Volvo.
Why not? You got heat,
never do
pressure.
It. Never. We need mechanical engineering, which is
exactly, and that's the reason I always ask that, because you need a biological engineer. Yeah, but you need a biological engineer to put it together. Yeah, so you answered your own question.
Yeah, I understand, man.
All right, you have a nice day, mate. All right, so back within the book of Job, the 28th. You need it. You see, that's the thing when you go into science and all of that. It all goes back onto the Most High. Okay, and that's what this earth pushes, and that's what Esau out there within these so-called colleges pushes, because their thing is to eliminate the Most High, okay, from being a power within the earth. Because when they push their science and all of that, they can have it to where they're the gods, because they're the ones that are coming up with these ideas. Okay, the scripture says that they name the cities after their own names. Okay, well, the same thing goes for these different theories that they have. They've named these different theories after themselves, and then a whole study of science comes out of that, which is going to be a study of science against the scriptures. Okay, the Bible says that the Most High made man. Okay, the Most High made woman. He made the trees, and when you look at these things, you marvel. You know how the Most High come up with that, because the Most High is on a higher level than man is on a higher level. You take the greatest biomechanical engineers upon the face of the earth, okay, and they can't come up with what the Most High came up with, okay, and that's the power to be power to be glorified, man. That's a power to be worshipped. But that's what they're trying to take out the earth, because this man is anti what? Is anti the Most High. That's why he's known as the Antichrist. Okay, but that's the rulers that be ruling within the world right now. They're anti-Messiah, and as a result of being anti the Messiah and anti the Most High and anti the ordinances of the Most High was going to destroy them. They ain't out here upholding the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. They're against those law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Okay, because through their so-called sciences, falsely so-called, okay, they can have it to where the people would have doubt. Okay, See, here it is, you ask the average person, do they believe in the Most High? Especially the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Okay, now they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. Okay, but because they've been confounded, okay, you ask the average Negro, Hispanic, Native American, or average people upon the face of the earth right now, okay, whether they not just believe in the Most High, but to fear the Most High. The vast majority of the people ain't going to be fearing the Most High, okay? Because they have had their mind taken away from them, okay, through these sciences. But see, what's going to happen is the Most High is going to make a grand entrance. The Most High is going to send his son to make a grand entrance, and the fear of the Most High is going to be increased within the earth. Right now, it's the thing of you got the men of the Lord out there pushing this word, okay? And that's fine, that's cool. But when the Most High imparts the spiritual power, you got it to where the men of the Lord are healing people, that's when people are going to marvel and say, surely there is a power that dwelleth in heaven, man. And his power is great, and he's greatly to be feared too, okay? Because it's going to turn from a thing of healing to a thing of needing salvation, okay? When you go to where, see, people, it's all good and well when things are going all right. You can have it to where people are scoffing against the scriptures of the Most High. You can have it to where the people are scoffing against what? The law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. You tell the person right now, you can't be eating pork, they'll scoff at that. You can't be eating shrimp, they'll scoff at that. Okay, you shouldn't be having tattoos and this, that, and the third. Okay, they'll come up and scoff against that. Okay, but see, when you're out there hungry somewhere, okay, and you haven't had a meal for 3 days, of which the scripture says the worst death, okay, that's going to come upon the earth when these plagues come upon the earth as a judgment for the iniquity that these people done. Okay, when these scourges for correction come upon the earth, the scripture says the worst one's going to be hunger. Okay, here it is, you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are going to get, that's going to get killed by way of the ICBM nuclear missiles. Okay, when it's World War III is playing out, the scripture says it's going to be worse for them that are left upon the earth, that are going to die by hunger, man. Because they're going to hallucinate, they're going to look at their children, they're going to think that's a hot meal. Okay, they're going to be going through all kind of psychological trauma, okay, within that time, and then they was going to call upon the name of the Lord. But see, the Lord ain't going to deliver no heathen, and he damn sure ain't going to, the Lord ain't going to deliver just, these jakes out here that was doing wickedness, and he ain't damn sure ain't gonna deliver some heathen out there. Okay, so a great judgment's come up on the earth. Okay, so going back onto the book of Job, the 20th chapter. Okay, and the verse I was reading was the 19th verse, Job 20 and 19. So it says, because he hath oppressed and he has violently forsaken the poor. And like I read within the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the poor is the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man. Okay, and really all the Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, like I said, you might have a Jake that makes it within the league, but ultimately that money is gonna be lost within 2 or 3 generations, man. Okay, you might have certain Jakes that are out there and they're lawyers and businessmen, but the money that they have, that's small money in comparison to Esau. Esau's got it to where he's got money that runs states, governments. Okay, they decide policies on what happens with the water that you drink. That's having wealth and influence. And what they do with that is what? They do all kind of wickedness with it. They put poison within the water, okay, or what is it, heavy metals. And that's why the people are on a low vibration. But the scripture says that what? That the Most High set it up to where the servants of the Lord was going to eat and drink poison, but they was going to be fine. Okay? Because here it is, you might have heavy metals within the water that have it to where you are less spiritual, but still you got it to where the men of the Lord are out there within the streets. Okay, that goes to show you that there's a spiritual hand that's working behind the thing of this word being pushed out there. There is a spiritual intervention that's happening to where the men of the Lord come out there week in, week out, regardless of all the poison that you're eating out there, because the devil's in rulership. Okay, so it says there, because he hath violently forsaken the poor, and violently had taken the house which he builded up. So they go out there in the Middle East somewhere, okay, and say Assad is poisoning his people, or he's committing war crimes against his people. They go out there and take the whole their whole agenda now is to take down Assad and take control of Syria. But when you check out the regional side of that, Syria, Syria is right near. Syria is like the last. Syria and Iraq is like the last places within Eurasia. Okay, and the Middle East that pretty much is not underneath the influence of America. Okay, they're like the last 2 places where you got it to where the American influence ain't too like down there. Now the scripture says they're despised through and through throughout the 4 corners of the earth, but they're the last places where you got it to where you got some kind of non-Americanism. Okay, So it says, hey, but they go out there and they want to take all of that. They took Afghanistan, they took Iraq, okay, because they wanted to, okay. But ultimately, what was important to us, or what's important to the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, is that they violently taken away our house. They took away, and that goes into the main point of the sermon. Because out there within the land of Israel right now, you ain't going to where the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are living in their own land. Because that's our land. It ain't the land of the so-called Jews. That's the land of the people of the Lord. That ain't the land of heathens where you're going to have it to where in Tel Aviv you got gay parades and kosher pig being eaten. Okay? That's the land of the Lord. That was a land where you were supposed to have righteousness flourishing. That was supposed to be the epicenter of righteousness being taught within the four corners of the earth. The scripture says within the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, how the all nations was going to flow to Jerusalem. They was going to learn of his ways. Let's read that. Okay, Isaiah the 60th chapter. Okay, Isaiah the 60th chapter. Isaiah 60:1, it says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness of the people. And part of the darkness, the major darkness that's covered the whole earth, is the thing of the nations, man. Okay, people actually think that their nation is America, or their nation is, London, or the UK. Furthermore, there's biblical nations and biblical identifiers for those nations, and the characteristics that those nations was going to possess that go back onto the scriptures. Okay, for instance, the Moabites was going to look and behave a particular way. The Ammonites was going to behave and look a particular way. And so was the Israelites. And the major characteristics of the Israelites is the zeal that they have for the Most High. Although it be not according to what? According to knowledge, they still coming in the what? They coming in the zeal of the Most High. Okay? So those characteristics, those nations, furthermore, the name of those nations, they've been taken away from the earth. That's why you go to where you got gross darkness within the earth. People just think they can intermingle with each other, like how you had it to where when Babylon was set up within the ancient times. Okay, the scripture says that what? When Nimrod was on the earth, he set up a city. That's within the book of Genesis. Okay, the name of it, what was it? The beginning of it was Esau, and so on and so forth. And he built it up what? Babylon. And you had it to where the